Alright guys, before we get into today's video, I wanted to demonstrate something very important to us. The government is talking about that scary virus, I'm going to show you the proper way that I put on a mask. When you get these little straps here, Alright guys, today's video is going to be working on our very dirty 2017 Jetta. And we've got about 52,000 miles on this. I think it's 52 something. And one thing that I noticed with these Jettas is they say that these transmissions, along with other makes and models, these transmissions are lifetime transmissions. And what they mean by that is you'll never have to change the transmission fluid. That's why a lot of these cars have sealed transmissions where they do not have any dipsticks at all. And but that's not true, especially in areas like Arizona where it gets extremely hot. And what happens is that transmission fluid is used and abused in the extreme heat in our state here and other states as well. It's never a good idea to run 100, 200,000 miles on the same transmission fluid because that transmission fluid breaks down. And it's a known fact. People can argue with me all they want, but I wanted to change the transmission fluid between 30 and 40,000 miles, but you know how life goes, things get in the way, you get busy, and then all of a sudden your car's got 52,000 miles on it and you're beyond your preferred change. And let me open up the door here and show you guys. Right now this car has 51,915, so it's just under 52,000. And we're going to change the transmission fluid today, and I hope you stick with us. Maybe you have a Volkswagen product and you'll have to be changing the transmission fluid as well. This car actually showed up in my detailing video, and by the way it looks, we're going to have to do another detail real soon. It's been a while since I fully detailed this car, but it's still in immaculate condition other than a layer of dirt here and there. Refocus that. So, Volkswagen cars are really, really nice cars. They're very reliable. I had a 2004 that had 250,000 miles on it before it finally went. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the air filter box and change the spark plugs. Again, 50,000 miles, we should have changed the spark plugs at 30,000. And what I've noticed is that our fuel economy has dropped tremendously in the last 10,000 miles. We used to get 42 miles per gallon solid, and now we're down to about 32 miles per gallon. So we've lost 10 miles per gallon, and that is substantial when you talk about, a full tank of gas. What, 14-gallon tank, 14 times 10, that's 140 miles a tank that we are losing right now. So we're going to change the spark plugs, we're going to change the air filter, and of course the transmission fluid. And then we'll check back later and tell you if that brought it back up. This may be something that you've been experiencing in your Jetta or your Volkswagen product, and you might want to give it a shot. I'll go over the plugs and the air filter as we get there. We'll be back. Okay, it's been a while since I've detailed the engine compartment, but if you look at it, it's really in good condition. There's some dust here and there and along here, and it really upsets me to see my car like this. But I've been very busy at work and life and remodeling my house and everything, so I've been really neglecting the detail of my engines. And I bought this car brand new. It had 4 miles on it when I brought it home. So I try to keep it as clean as I can, because a clean engine is a healthy engine, you know. And you see your engine starting to get like this, it's really upsetting. I'm going to probably ride over to Harbor Freight to grab some brushes, some detailing brushes. Mine are all worn out, and I'll probably get on this today as well and start detailing it out. But first of all, we're going to have to remove the air box, and then I can uncover more of the engine so I can get a deeper detail of the engine. This might be a two-part video where I'm doing the air filter detailing and spark plugs first, and then we'll get into the transmission. Okay, we're back. All right, here are the spark plugs. Here is the part number for the spark plugs. This engine here is the 1.4 turbo. It is, of course, a 4-cylinder. So I have bought 4, and these are factory plugs here. However, they are a Bosch. And once I get one out here, I'll show you a big difference between these and normal plugs. First of all, let's look at the electrode here. Get that. Come on. We can do it this way and get a better focus. Not focusing. That's just too shiny, I think. Let's go into some different lighting. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's got a copper sealing ring, like most plugs do, and that electrode is very normal. I'm going to have to find the gap setting. I will tell you the gap setting when we come to that part, before we start installing them. And this part here looks like a normal standard plug. It is a Bosch, and it is a Volkswagen standard plug. But now look at the top part. See that little tab there? That is much smaller than what I am used to seeing. And you'll probably agree that that's a lot smaller than the normal area here. Okay, so that is a standard plug. It is specifically for this engine. And I paid like $11 a piece for these. So it is a little more expensive to get a Volkswagen part, but this is my first brand new car, and I want to make sure that I put the correct parts in here and keep it running as best as I can, because going from 42 miles per gallon to only 32 is a significant drop, and I don't want to be running an engine that is not running right, especially because it's almost brand new. Well, it's still brand new to me. 50,000 miles, you know, it's still a new car. And I actually have a nice warranty on it. Unlimited mileage for unlimited years. Anything goes wrong with the engine and transmission that requires the dismantling of the engine or transmission will be covered. No deductible, no charges, no questions asked. Of course, you know, if they open up the engine and the engine's dry of oil, then of course that is negligence on my part. But I can guarantee you, this engine is well taken care of. So here we go, guys. This is a filter, and this is a factory filter by Volkswagen. Let's pull that out of the box here, and it looks like that. Okay. Air filters can plug up. They can cause the engine to stress and to run a little less efficient. And this filter actually was about 12 bucks. And it's a Volkswagen filter. And so a Wix filter, you're talking, you know, $15 minimum anyway. So I got a great deal on this filter here. And I got my parts for this car through Rock Auto. Anytime I buy parts, I go to Rock Auto, I check the prices there, and then I take those part numbers, because I trust Rock Auto's system a lot better than I do eBay's. So I take those part numbers and I go over to eBay and I scan for those. And if I can get the same parts for cheaper, then I'll go ahead and order them from eBay. But if not, I go with Rock Auto. And plus, I am a magnet collector. I have a whole wall of magnets from Rock Auto. We're going to pull off the filter box first. I'll probably hold off on installing the filter until we're ready to put the filter box back on. Of course, that's it right there. And so we're going to get started. Okay, here is a tip. When you're dealing with plugs on this engine, specifically right for this purpose here, these coil packs. When you're dealing with these coil packs, you can unclick it by pushing down in here. There is a special tool to do it, but I just use a simple flathead, stick it in there, and very gently, it doesn't take much pressure, and I just pry a little bit until I hear a click. And then this plug will pop right off. Alright, so I've got all the wires disconnected. These are ground wires, or 2 on each of the middle ones. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my air compressor hose here, and I'm going to blow out this area here to get all the dust and leaves or crumbs from here, because when you start pulling these out, you don't want anything to fall down inside the spark plug holes. Alright, there we go. Now to get these out, it's simply, you know, once those bolts are fully out, just give it a little pop up and they should come out. And like always, I inspect the boots. Okay, everything looks really nice in there. A little bit of gel in there, which is good. Okay, and that's one. And of course, whenever you're pulling off something off an engine that has more than one, you always want to keep them in order, because that's where they've worn in, and in my opinion, that's the best way to keep your engine running consistently. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all those, and then I'll be back for the spark plugs. Okay, so as you can see, all the plugs are down here, and you can tell that there's no leaking from the valve cover gasket. 50,000 miles, I sure in the hell hope not. And you can see that the tips of those spark plugs are exactly like the ones I bought to replace them. We're going to go ahead and pull one out at a time. No sense in exposing the cylinders to any more time than we need to. So I'm going to find my correct socket and pull each of them out. Okay, here is the first spark plug. Looks fairly normal. It's almost like it almost looks like there's a little carbon fouling going on in there, and that could simply be because these plugs are at the end of their life cycle, and the gap is much greater in the used plugs than the new ones. So I got to figure out what the proper gap setting is and get them gapped. All right, I can't get it to focus, guys, but I noticed on all of the old ones, can't get it to focus that close up. Oh, there you go, right there. Okay, you can see that line right there. On the top contact there, you can see that, and that is on all the old ones. That is not on the new ones. Okay, I don't think they would change the style or anything, because it is the same exact spark plug. So that there is a lot like the stuff that you would find on the contacts in the old distributor caps that you would have to chip off or replace the cap. So that could contribute to a weak fire, which would cause a drop in fuel economy. So I'm glad I'm changing these. I'll probably schedule the next change in about 80,000 miles. All right, let's get them back in. Okay, all the plugs are in. They are now torqued down, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow out of here one more time, and then I'm going to start putting the coil packs back inside. Okay, so I always set my coil packs in, and then I plug them all up. And that way there, I can make sure that all the wires are ran properly, and I'm not going to regret it and have to pull things off again. And then I'll put the bolts in. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and be right back. One more thing. Anytime you're dealing with grounds, especially if you live in an area with a lot of humidity, because humidity and electricity don't mix very well. That causes a lot of corrosion. I'm going to go ahead and take some fine sandpaper and just clean up these contacts a little bit for these grounds. We have our air box here. Now we're going to get the air filter swapped out of here. All right, the air box. What can I say about it? It's pretty easy. We're going to take 2 screws out, and then there's going to be some clips, and then this whole thing will come out. Grab my screwdriver. Okay, we're going to undo these screws and be right back. Okay, with both screws, I don't think they come out. But with both screws undone, there's tabs you push in and pry up on this here, and they will snap out. Okay. And there's some on this side too. Now this lid will come off, and voila, look what we got, guys. We've got a dirty air filter. Holy moly, we gotta look at that next to the new one. Okay, we'll get out the new one here. Look at the difference in that. This air filter is dirty, guys. I am so glad I decided to have this changed. Okay, of course, this is the side that air flows up through into the engine. So there's some debris here, some bugs and stuff, and looks like grass particles. And we're not going to disturb this too much. We're just going to throw it right in the garbage box. Okay, so what we're going to do is make sure that there's no debris on the inside here. We're going to lay our brand new one right in its place right here. Just like so. And I am going to start up this car, and it's going to be like a brand new car again, guys. The computer display is going to come up, and it's going to say, "Thank you, thank you. I can breathe, I can breathe." You know, because imagine trying to breathe through a straw for hours. You know, you're going to get tired. You're not going to get enough oxygen, and that's how an engine will feel too. You know, it'll feel like it's not able to breathe, and then it's going to start struggling. Gotta make sure it's on right, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The screws on the left side there, really close, and you just match that up, and it'll get on there perfectly. And then we'll snap it into place and then screw them down. Everything's clipped back in. Screws are nice and snug. So I don't know why they're putting these screws in here when these clips, they really squish the seal down and they snap in real nicely. But, you know, as most know, the Germans over-engineer everything. So this is a very well-designed filter holder, I guess, for lack of a better word. And it seals up really nice, so there's very little that gets by the filter, if any at all. So, alright, we're not going to go ahead and install this yet because I want to detail the engine first. But I got to go ride to the store to grab some new detailing brushes. And I noticed that this is offset here. I believe I loosened this up to pop this off, and then I decided to do the one up here because it was easier to get to. So I'm going to go ahead and straighten that up. But until I get back, guys, we're going to take a small pause. Be instantaneous for you, though. Wish it was for me, riding over to the store and back. But hey, I get to ride my motorcycle, so that's fun for me, right? Okay, guys, I have pretty much detailed the engine area and some surrounding areas that I wanted to get, and I've completely detailed it out. It looks much better. There's of course some little nooks and crannies where there's dirt back in there, some and stuff, but you can't get everything. Of course, there's some rusted areas back there, but you're never going to get everything. Eventually, what I'll do is I'll cover up some important components, like the whole engine area here, and I'll get the hose and I'll spray all the dirt out from all the nooks and crannies and do a really good rinse job on a high pressure, and that will really clean it up. But for the most part, the engine area is done. There's a little bit spiffing up like here and stuff that I'm going to do. But for right now, I'm going to fire this up. I'm going to see how it sounds with its new plugs in and air cleaner, of course. All right, got to get my keys. Be right back. Okay, I had to go get my keys because, you know, for some reason, cars just don't start up without keys. And of course, the 2017 Jetta, you have a key. It actually has a nice laser cut key, but it's push button, so you just open up the garage so I don't die. Okay. It actually runs really nice. Wow. Nice and smooth. It was actually starting to run really rough, but it's now running really smooth starting up. Wow. Very cool, guys. I'm very happy now. Very smooth running engine. Let's go on the outside. I had my tire off because it had a nail in it. Anybody know what that rattle is? That rattle's always been in this engine since the day I bought it. Might have something to do with the turbo. You know, it almost sounds like something spinning and knocking up against something, like a fan knocking up against something, but very nice. Sounds good, other than that little rattle sound. Alright, well, that wraps it up for this video, guys. I'm going to go ahead and do the transmission fluid change on another video. So go ahead and check on that. They should post at the same time. So if you're interested in it, it should already be up. So, alright guys, thanks for watching my little tune-up on my 2017 Jetta. As I always say, guys, cars run better with gas. See you next time.